We were told we just have to survive until morning. Even if we keep coming back, I worry we might not have many attempts left before we turn into one of them. What's going on, guys? It's your BFF Snowy Oreo 663 here, right now, and for day 19 of the Scare-A-Thon, we've got another recent release with Until Dawn from 2025. This was another recommendation of Mike, and I use the term recommendation loosely. He did demand I add this to the horror lineup, but only because it was a film he was also interested in seeing for the first time. This movie is apparently based on a video game of the same name, one that I know nothing about. Mike says he's a fan of the game, and so with him on call as we watched, I got to hear all the hidden Easter eggs and references to the game while also telling him to shut the hell up so I could pay attention to what the characters were saying. I'll start with a brief synopsis, go into my thoughts, and then dive into spoiler territory with a full summary. Ready? Let's go. Friends Clover, Max, Megan, Abe, and Nina are all heading out to a random-ass town in the middle of nowhere to try to look for Clover's missing sister Melanie a year after she vanished. The rest of the group thinks she's dead, only doing this for Clover and hopes she gets some closure. Oh, and Megan has some sort of psychic ability to read spiritual messages or whatever, but don't worry about it. They meet a guy at a gas station who says that people tend to go missing at a nearby valley, and the group drives through a heavy rainstorm to get there. At the empty visitor center, everyone splits up to explore when a crazed man in a mask kills Abe. Holy shit! He seems indestructible, everyone dropping like flies until Clover is left, getting stabbed, and whoa! The group finds themselves back at the start of the night, having to find out some way to survive until morning, losing themselves a little more each time they die. According to Mike, this movie is not like the game much at all, since the time loop aspect directly contradicts the game mechanic of not being able to respawn. But as somebody who doesn't know the game, I'm just gonna judge this as a movie on its own. I actually did find this one quite scary. The near constant barrage of horror and scares made it very intense. I love the designs of some of the threats the group meets out in the woods, but it does get brought down a little by the lack of explanation sometimes. The mystery was also interesting, despite being a bit convoluted. As I'm writing the script, I'm having to pull up the movie multiple times to rewatch scenes because I'm struggling to come up with the explanations. This movie feels a little like a haunted house, if that makes sense. Everything you're seeing is genuinely scary, and it's almost non-stop horror and fear while your only thought is to try to figure out how to escape this nightmare. However, there's very little cohesion between the scares, and while in the spoiler section I'll explain why that's kind of the point, it does make the movie feel a little too busy and not great at blending those interesting concepts together. Now we're gonna get a little deeper into the plot and into some spoilers. If you want to skip, head to this time. Ready? 3, 2, 1, boo! Their second deaths involve a terrifying witch lady and Clover momentarily getting possessed.
Yo guys, it's me, Charlie. Hey, did that guy just turn into sand?
On their third attempt, the group finds that their bodies are starting to change with every death. They drink some water that makes them all fucking explode, revealing that the water in this time loop is dangerous. Clover spots the guy from the gas station before dying again, finding out that he might be the center of all this. They can't leave in their car due to a giant monster lurking around outside of the valley. Spoilers, we never see this thing again and we never get an explanation, so. Their next attempt is to search for information in the basement. They learn the town used to be thriving, but fell apart after a mine collapse that killed over 1,000 people. They find a photo of the guy from the gas station, learning his name is Dr. Alan Hill, and he must be connected to all this. Nina spots a door leading to a vast tunnel system that they wisely choose to ignore.
I think I found something.
I don't think that's gonna help us. A VHS tape?
No, just power.
Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier, and welcome to Five Nights at Freddy's, an indie horror game that you guys.
Sorry.
Very powerful, Max. Thank you.
Playing a tape, we learn that Dr. Alan Hill was a scientist who experimented with the effect of fear on the human body, seeing that he was able to use this constant barrage of terror and respawning after death to turn people into Wendigos, a creature of Native American folklore. I am by no means an expert on this creature, and I know some adaptations of it can be seen as offensive or twisting folklore or whatnot, so I'm just gonna look at this as a creature from a movie and not as a Wendigo, the creature of Native American folklore, okay? The creatures are like zombies who eat human flesh and are drawn to fear, constantly feeling hungry. The group realize that this is what they're turning into, and every time they respawn, they get attacked by something new, so that the fear is always constant and never becomes predictable. Clover demands to talk to Dr. Hill, who says that he has her sister. He says they can leave as long as one person dies, Abe being the only one entertaining the idea, as long as he isn't the one to die, you know. Everyone hears Melanie calling outside, and the group vows that if one of them dies, everyone else removes themselves from the census to start again until everyone can make it out safely. Nina gravely injures Abe to make sure he complies as the rest run out to find Melanie, learning that she has turned into one of the creatures. Restarting the cycle once Megan dies, they find themselves in a haze and can't remember how many attempts it's been. Abe checks his phone, seeing a bunch of videos that he recorded showing they've done this a dozen times. With Megan seemingly missing and Nina concluding that 13 seems to be the max number of attempts, everyone bravely heads into the tunnels, figuring that this is their last try. They get separated by the creatures, Clover braving it alone while the rest run for their lives. There's some tense sequences here that Mike claims came right out of the game before Clover gets attacked by Melanie, reluctantly having to kill her sister to escape. She finds Megan locked up with some creature chained to the wall just out of reach, running through the facility to find a key. Instead, she meets with Dr. Hill, who says that she's the key to all this. Every monster was a manifestation of her own mental health problems, and that she's a fascinating study or something. While he's monologuing, Clover pushes his coffee cup under a leaky pipe, watching with a grin as he drinks it up. He tells her that somebody still has to die to let them escape, her telling him that he'll do. Dr. Hill explodes from drinking the toxic water, Clover grabbing the keys and freeing Megan just in time. The group meets up and escapes the tunnels, relieved to see daylight once again. They load up in the car and drive away, a camera system from the underground switching to show a log cabin in the snow, implying that the experiment is far from over. I'm sure I missed a few things in this recap because it's really hard to figure out what the real explanations are behind everything that's going on. Perhaps if it focused on one or two scares or made the ever-changing threats a little more concise, I think I would have gotten a better grasp. The characters weren't anything special, but I do really appreciate how loyal they were to each other, refusing to continue if it meant they weren't all going to get out. Aside from Abe, I guess. Everybody was determined to make it out as a group. That's kind of lost a lot in many horror flicks, and it was a nice refresh to see. I think this movie has an interesting premise, and while Mike says it might be a bad adaptation, I think it had potential to be something really good. Not to say it's bad either. It's genuinely scary, and you'll never be bored with how fast-paced the action is. But you might be a little confused. I'm giving this one 3 out of 5 stars. Thanks so much for watching my video. As for tomorrow's movie, ever get the feeling you're being watched? Try to brush that aside as you head for a vacation with your friends. And don't forget to follow the cliches you're meant to be. Bye!